Hello everyone, welcome to this new weekly community show. I hope you're all doing really well. Thank you very much for joining us live or on YouTube. We have a lot of very exciting things to discuss together with you. Thank you very much for your feedback. Thank you for your participation, your encouragement. Thank you for liking and commenting our video. And thank you for the kind words you are leaving us. So really from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Every little encouragement is really important to us and it is really reassuring and heartwarming. So thank you very much for those of you that are taking the time to share us good news and good comments. Today we will be speaking about different things. Of course, we have the progression of the development of the game for this month of May and the preparation of the next patch that will be released the 30th of May. We also have a very important news, the dates and the plan for the open weekend that happened the 2nd of June to the 4th of June. It's going to be really exciting. And then we have finally the promised interview of the art team. So our 3 artists are discussing for 30 minutes about their job, what they do in the game and the impact they have in the game. So I'm really excited to share that interview with you. That has been pre-recorded, so they're not going live. You cannot interact with them live. But I'm already very glad that I managed to do a meeting with the art team. You may have seen or read this thread before. Obviously, you can watch the other episodes that are listed in the forum, or you can find them on YouTube. I post them on Reddit as well. So this is the thread. I'm going to show you the title of this thread. May 2023, in the QA section of the forum, you still have May to-do list. Right, and then you have May the 3rd, May the 4th, May the 5th, May the 9th. That's what we have been reading in the past episode. So now let's take the new stuff. May the 17th. All right. Tooltip renovation in progress. Armor, weapons, consumable, regions, abilities have all undergone some update. Work here is still ongoing, but please let me know specific items or abilities that are wacky or need some special attention. Hold Alt while an item or ability tooltip is active will show you more data for your viewing pleasure, such as the dice roll. Or the dice. We have removed that, so the dice are not part of the tooltips anymore unless you press Alt. And this simply because they were confusing. So I know some of you are disappointed because we really enjoyed this little D&D touch or tabletop touch. But unfortunately it was causing a lot of headache for a lot of players and a lot of confusion. So we decided to simplify the system. But if you still enjoy it, you can still hold Alt and see it. Hold Shift while an ability tooltip is active will show you the next ability tier if present. Aura volume slider removed as it serves no purpose. Added notifications to chat when a group member gets knocked unconscious. Adjusted LOD on some props. Anthill and Ratness will now properly call for help when player attack at range. So it's going to be a little bit more tough, and you cannot range attack abuse the anthill anymore. I know I've been using this method several times. Now this is something of the past. You will have to fight all the ants. It's going to be a little bit more tough. Yes, the ants are nasty, we all agree. Reduce the amount of durability lost when hit by 10%. So that's pretty cool. Your repair bill will be less expensive now. And address differences between primary and secondary flanking direction not having enough impact. See below. Alright, so this is going to be an important adjustment. The flanking weapon update, the weapon flanking update, sorry. Weapon have a primary and secondary flanking position. typically denoted by a reduced base flanking value in that position. For example, moles have a plus damage from rear, primary, and plus 3 damage from the front, secondary. This was meant to offer a less optimal but still useful way of using weapon with flanking. We had changed this system so the primary flanking direction will now get a bonus to the flanking stats, but the secondary will only receive the base value of the flanking stat. Alright, so what does that mean? For example, a crossbow has plus 5 damage side flank primary and plus 15 hit rear flank secondary. As example of how the math play out for a player with plus 25 flanking is as follows. The primary flanking position from the side will have base plus 125 flanking to damage, or 5 plus 25 multiplied by 1.25 equal plus 30.25 damage. Whereas the secondary flanking position from the rear will have base plus 100% flanking to hit, or 15 plus 25 multiplied by 1 equal plus 40 hits. Okay, that's a lot of math. Please note, some weapons do not follow traditional convention on flanking and have higher base values. Those weapons have kept the higher base flanking bonuses but have reduced contribution from plus flanking that go below 100%. Hopfly Great Axe, Gallic's Fang, Dreadmaul, Prospector's Peak, Fishing Pole, and Encased Tendrils. May the 19th. More tooltip cleanups, region, triggers, more. Rebaked middle and nav to account for tree size change. Fixed stuck pot in Reshore. Fixed more typo in NPC's call for help and abilities emotes. Basilic's tail whip is now a conal attack. Knuckle and claw are now referred to as one-hand fist type. First level requirement for harvesting named stone coats. Group nameplate UI color will now change depending on the health state of the player. Cyan default blue selected, red unconscious, purple selected and unconscious, black equal dead. Alright. Adjusting hunting log threshold to more appropriate value. More info to come later. Lighting fix in some dungeon rooms. Resilience update. Resilience currently serves as a saving throw when your health drops to 0. We've expanded the functionality of resilience to now also reduce the damage bonus of incoming heavy and critical hits. Reminder that resilience only works in combat stance. Eagle Eye ability now has audio on execute. Environmental spiderweb are now even stickier. In addition to reduced movement speed, they also grant negative haste. Oh. Added some props in Forgotten Depth. May 23. More tooltip cleanup, targeting requirement and auto attack. Rename stat flanking to positional. So that's something that has been discussed on Discord. Undone were saying that flanking was much more cooler than positioning, but people were arguing that flanking was confusing because flanking is general attacking on the flank, not on the rear and not on the front. So positional now will reflect better what flanking is supposed to mean. So this is something and information you will have to share with other players probably, because that's a big change, especially returning player, that we can expect during the open weekend. Positional arrow on weapon tooltip are colored blue, yellow and red to match the arrow indicator on nameplates. So that's on the tooltips. When using a repair kit with a stack count greater than 1, it will remain in repair mode until that stack is exhausted or you cancel the repair mode. Crafting interface should now remember where it was between sessions. Burn effect from embering now do a fixed percentage damage per tick so that it is equally dangerous to all level. Stat enhanced by armor closing augment are now colored green in the stat window to indicate that an augment is applied to that stat. Weapon augment on both main and offhand weapon are now both properly consumed when using abilities while dual wielding. And that's it for the QA change. So a lot of things are related to the tooltips and the positional bonuses. So yeah, it's a big change for this month. It's probably less exciting than a new zone, but it's very much needed. And so this is a great. Very important is the open weekend. So now we have the date we can share with you. It starts the Friday 2nd of June at noon Central American time, which is 7 p.m. Central Europe time, and it ends at midnight the Sunday 4th of June for Central American time, or 7 a.m. for Europe. So what can you expect during this open weekend? First of all, the gates are open so everyone can try the game, play the game, bring their friend, return to the game, and see the development progress of the game. You didn't know if the game was running on your computer? It's the best moment to check out. Even if you're very busy during that weekend, you can just take the time to download the game, create an account if you have not done already, and just see for yourself. Has the performance improved for you? There's nothing better than we can say to you that you testing it for yourself and see how it plays out on your computer. If you are a players that have abandoned the game for a reason or another, it's the occasion for you to try it again to see how we have progressed. And if you are a returning player, someone that did play the game a lot, it's the perfect moment to try our new content for free during this weekend. So if you've never tried Grimstone Canyon, or if you have never tried our new Ember Vein or Red Shore Reach that has been released a little some time ago, or the new Forgotten Depth, it's the perfect moment to try out for no cost. So we really hope to see a lot of players that are returning to the game, want to try out the new stuff, and plenty of new players that never dare to play the game. And now you can do it and you can join us for free during this weekend. Alright, so what are we preparing during this weekend? Of course, it's an occasion to celebrate, and I am working to organize something really cool for you guys. So first of all, you can see in this thread all of the plans for everything. So let me read it for you. Hello Drifter, we have announced our open weekend, free weekend, starting Friday the 2nd of June at noon CDT and ending Sunday 4th of June at 11:59 p.m. CDT, or Friday 7 p.m. CET and Monday 7 a.m. CET. That's just what I say earlier. This is the perfect time to test the game. Check if your computer can run the game well enough for you to enjoy it. Bring your friends and communities to the game. Come back to the game if you have taken a break to see what has improved and changed. You can download the game by visiting your account page after creating an account. As usual, we have a bunch of events to celebrate the weekend, and we hope to gather a regular player, a returning player, and a bunch of new players in a massive, beautiful, and fun weekend. So first of all, we have the Content Creator Marathon that starts Friday the 2nd at noon and lasts until Sunday the 4th at 11:59 p.m. or midnight. Discover the game with a variety of streamers of all styles on Twitch, but also on YouTube. During the marathon, streamer will have one key to the game to offer per hour, one giveaway. That means that we will have 62 giveaway or game time to offer through the weekends. And that's super cool. So who's participating in the streamer marathon? Well, I'm still establishing the schedule, so that will be posted later on here in this forum and will be announced obviously on Discord and other social media. But we will start by 1 hour just with me. introduction to the game and a welcoming party. And that's on my channel. Then we will do a special dev discussion and special announcement. I think you want to be there for the special announcement. It's going to be quite important. And that's together with Drindin, our executive producer, Moroland, the lead narrative designer, and Charlie's, our world builder, and myself. And then we have our special stream event with a team of content creator and dev to showcase the newest content that will just be released with the patch the 30th of May. And that will be with the Nathan Napalm, Alice Blue, Sparrow, Moorland, Drindin and myself. The detail of the marathon with all streamers will be shared later. Keep an eye on our social media to know the exact schedule. Alright, so other event. Check this out, guys. Welcoming party location, the Circle Camp in New Haven Valley, Windmill Camp. So I hope you all know where the Circle Camp is. Time, Friday, just 30 minutes after the gate starts. So we can leave the players discover the game first. Let's gather at the Circle Camp to prepare a nice party for the new player with goodies, consumable and crafted non-imbued equipment. We will regularly send some messenger to Drifter Landing to bring back new players to the camp, and we will celebrate their coming with laughter, cheers and gifts. So why am I saying crafted non-imbued equipment? Is to just leave the pleasure of finding a loot on named boss and such. Otherwise, if you give crafted imbued equipment, it's not needed anymore, and I think it's nicer for new players especially to be really excited to get in the dungeon and receive some nice upgrade from a mob. So that's why I'm asking you to just go with the non-imbued equipment. In addition, you keeping your precious flux for yourself. I think it will be nice like this. And also the reason why I would like to send some people to get back the new players from Drifter Landing, where they will be hanging out, because that's where they start their quest, and to bring them all along the road is not only to show them the way in case they were lost, even if the indication follow the roads are simple enough, but also to have something kind of funny, you know. It's really, you're grabbing the players and guiding them through on the road and showing them where the welcoming parties celebrating. So I think it will be fun and nice. So I will personally be able to only stay the 31st minute, because after that I will be doing the dev discussion, so I will not be able to host the celebration anymore. But I suggest making that place, so the Circle Camp, the welcoming area for new player all along the weekend. The Circle is all about welcoming drifters and helping them to adapt themselves to this new life. So lore-wise, it just fits very nicely. It is also conveniently close to shop, storage, anvil and a crafting station. So that's something I would think it's really nice, is to have this welcoming party and this welcoming committee hanging out at the Circle Camp. It makes perfect sense lore-wise. If you are discussing with Mentor Zashi and Eliza and you read the lore that they're providing, you will see that it makes sense. That's a little bit what the Circle is doing at that very place. So let's help the Circle doing that. So that's our first event, the welcoming party. We have been organizing a welcoming party for every open weekend and wall breaker event during the beta. Now we have something else. Duel tournament. Oh, but first I'm answering the question. Smartbone is saying, what does it mean if equipment is imbued? I never questioned this. So when you're crafting an equipment, so you are a provisioner, but let's say you were an outfitter and you will create a shirt. If you are just using flax and threads, you will be just doing a normal shirt. But if you use an ember flux, then that shirt will be much more powerful because it will be imbued with ember. So that's the ember flux they are serving to craft some more powerful equipment. It requires you to have a recipe that you find. You have seen those recipes, those books dropping right and left during our adventure. So, and then once you learn that recipe and you have flux and the proper material, you can create an imbued piece of equipment, which is much more powerful than what you will find as a loot in the world or regular crafting items. Event, duel, tournament, location, the circle camp. We are going to do all the fun stuff at the circle camp. I think it's an excellent location. Time, Saturday at 2 p.m. CDT, which is 9 p.m. CET. Participation, 5 silver. So if you want to participate to the duel tournament, you have to give me 5 silver. Round 1. Participants are assigned by couple of 2 to duel. All winners of round 1 move to round 2. All losers of round 1 are eliminated and lose their 5 silver fee. Round 2. Participants are assigned by couple of 2 to duel. All winners of round 1 move to round 2. No, all winners of round 2 move to round 3. All losers of round 2 are eliminated and lose a 5 silver fee. I need to edit that. And this until we have 2 players for the final. So how many rounds there will be? It depends on how many participants there will be. The winner will receive 80% of the participation fee plus 10 silver, and the loser will receive 20% of the participation fee plus 5 silver. So let's imagine we have 5 participants. So that means let's say we have 10 participants, so that will be 50 silver to share at the end, right? So the winner will receive 80% of those 50 silver. Next event, still on the Saturday. Location, North Wall in Northreach. Time, Saturday at 3 p.m. Central American Time or 10 p.m. Central Europe Time, or after the duel tournament. So I'm estimating the duel tournament to take less than 1 hour, but in the case it's longer, then we will start the Monolith tour a little bit later. So let's catch all monoliths. Everyone will gather at the door outside New Haven City in Northreach side. We will start our tour with Meadowland, Redshore Forest, Dryfoot and Grimstone Canyon. That is a first. We will need some high level to escort the low level player. So I count on you guys to join us for the Monolith tour, even if you are an accomplished and high level player. So you will serve as a bodyguard. Next event is the weekly fair trade. Nothing fancy about that. 2. I might try to spice it up to make it more fun. Location, the crafting quarter in New Haven City. Time, Sunday 2 p.m. Central Europe Time or 9 p.m. 2 p.m. Central American Time or 9 p.m. Central Europe Time. Join the weekly trade fair in New Haven City to meet other players, exchange stories of your last adventure or trade goods and services with them. And then the last event to conclude our beautiful weekend, the Marauder Invasion. Location, Northreach, Northeast Road, so by Dryfoot entrance. Time, Sunday at 3 p.m. Central American Time or 10 p.m. Central European Time. Seems like a group of bold marauders have decided to invade Northreach. What do they want? Are they at war with the exiles or with New Haven? Or did they hear about the new wave of drifter and are they taking this opportunity to capture a few new slaves to work in their mines? So that's are all for the events that we are planning for the open weekend. I will be very present on other streamers and trying to participate as much as possible, creating group for new players, but maybe returning players as well. Thankfully, I have my flexible character that I can adapt to every situation. So there it is. That's all for the event. Okay, I would like to speak about a content creator for this week in a very nice video we're going to share with you. It's a video that has been created by Sparrow, the art of taking it slow, 5 benefits of slower paced MMORPG. So it is not just related to Embers Adrift, but obviously as a slow paced game, we're absolutely included in that video. So just have a look to this video. Here we go.
Welcome to today's video, the art of taking it slow. 5 benefits of slower paced MMOs. We'll explore the advantages of taking a more relaxed approach to MMO gaming and how it can lead to a richer, more satisfying experience. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of slower paced MMOs and discover the hidden treasures that await us.
It's a really cool video.
Number 1. Enhanced immersion. Taking the time to explore the game world and engage with its lore allows players to become more invested in the story and characters, creating a deeper connection to the game. It also gives the player an appreciation of game design. Taking the time to explore and engage with the game world allows players to appreciate the artistry and effort that goes into creating a rich, detailed environment. Number 2. Strategic thinking.
If you want to know more about the reason why taking it slow in MMORPG are important, I really recommend you to check out the video. So I'm giving you the link towards this video. It is a very interesting video, very well made, and you can give a follow to Sparrow and a subscribe and a comment and a like and all the things to reward her for this. Really, it's a very nice video. I'm quite impressed because, you know, I'm a content creator and I like to see people flourishing as content creator, and I think that video is a really very good video. I'm very proud of you, Sparrow. Wenser, hi, welcome, Wenser. I feel like Embers Adrift is missing some immersion aspect that will really hook player a bit more. Oh, probably. You're certainly right, and we're working very hard on that. So, our game is far from being perfect, right? But we're a small team, and I know it's used as it sounds almost like an excuse or a gospel, but it is just the reality of things. So we generally have much bigger idea, a much bigger desire that we would like to do to really enhance the game in general, but we are constricted. It's something that I've explained in last week's episode in length, and so I would recommend you to watch last week's episode because I did this little rant. I'm separating everything by chapter, so you can really see the point that you prefer nowadays. So if there's one topic from another episode, you can just check that out. So you will find that very easily. It's called About Feedback. About Feedback. That's the area where I'm explaining this. But basically, we do our very best with the mean we have. A small team, limited amount of time, limited funds, some technical restriction. And we have to choose the best option in every case. And so sometimes we have to sacrifice things. There's plenty of things we would like to have in the game, but we're only 15, so we can only do so much. Yes, of course. But it's a very good point, and you are very right. You're very right. We know that. And so sometimes there's decisions we need to make that are breaking our heart. Like, we had a super cool idea, but we know it will take 6 months and 3% to work on it, and we have to create new dungeon first. And so we're like, well, yeah, that was a good idea, but no, too bad. And some things will be added step by step. So I know that, for example, one of the feedback we received very much from the player was the game is too mundane when you start up. There's only 5 different mobs, which was not really true, but it was the impression some players had. So we have reorganized that, and then you had the apparition of Mandrake in New Haven Valley, for example, and then those large roaming mobs that are not really there to offer you plenty of loot, but they are more present to scare away the players, because if they touch those mobs, they got wiped. They are part of a quest for higher level players, so it gives the occasion for higher level player to come back and visit those zones. And they are also showing up what you can expect in future. So that's a simple way we could address that feedback from player, instead of having our artists working days and nights to create 5 more new creatures, you see. So everything else is going to happen, but in a more slow-paced manner, because things take time and take people, and we are limited in time and in people. So my dear friends, be ready to watch the exclusive interview of our art team. It's the very first time they are showing their face on camera, and that you will have the occasion to see what they have to say about their work, about the passion they are putting and infusing into the game, about the creation. I'm really eager to see what is your favorite creator, what is your favorite asset, what is your favorite armor set in the game. That would be really nice that you leave a comment about those, to let them know what you enjoy and what is your preference, what is the things that astonish you the most. All right, so let's go. Let's see the video. Hello guys, it's really good to have you here finally in a community show. I'm super happy to see you. So we have our 3 artists here. Let's start with Joe. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Joe, and I'm a 3D artist. Yeah.
What about you, Rob?
Well, you kind of stole my thunder. I'm Rob. I'm character artist slash kind of, I guess, art manager, just kind of divvying out tasks and making sure stuff gets done.
And what about you, Franklin?
Yeah, I'm Franklin, and I'm a environmental artist.
This is really great. So I would like you guys to tell us how you got into this project, how you did join StormhavenStudio, and what you are doing on the team. I will start by the oldest, because Joe, you were present in the team even before I did. I think you joined in maybe 2015, something like that, right?
Yeah. It was just a project that we were working on the side, really. It was more of a passion project, and we thought we'd build something cool that we all liked, and didn't really have to answer to anybody, and just kind of, it was a very organic process, and there's a lot of learning along the way, and yeah, it just kind of grew from there, and we have what we have now, and it's pretty amazing to see how far we've come. And yeah, it's been quite the wild ride, but yeah, so it was 2015 now.
Pretty long time, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, now that you actually are telling me the year, it's crazy.
Yeah,
So
because it's like 8 years for you.
yeah.
So what
And
about
it's been a very humbling, and it's a great experience.
What about you, Rob? When did you join the team and how did that happen?
I joined in summer of 2020. My wife had worked with somebody that had previously worked with the team, and so it was just kind of a through the grapevine thing that I kind of weaseled my way in. And it was kind of at the transition point where the game was shifting from what it was to what it is now. So there was, there was a lot of drawing board activity and kind of revamping and redesigning what what the game was going to end up being.
And our youngest, I think you're the youngest in the team, Franklin. So
yeah.
how
I
did you
think so,
join?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I'm really lucky too to know somebody who's on the team too, right? And when I was in semester 6 of my schooling, I got an internship, and then out of the internship, they hired me. So it's been a really cool experience so far.
So that's really cool. And so you guys, you are kind of working together and collaborating, well, of course, but coordinating. That was the word I was looking for. Coordinating with each other. So how does that process happen? How do you are sharing the work, and what are you working on exactly, each one of you? Let's start with Joe.
Okay, so latest thing I've been working on are animations for one of our creatures, and basically how the process goes is we'll come up with what we need next, and I may do some rough sculpts and blockouts of whatever that may be, creatures, armor, whatever, and ship them out to Rob. He takes a look at it. He'll give his input, then I work off of that, and it's pretty easy process, really. I think we're lucky in the sense that we're kind of all on the same page on where we're going. So usually there isn't too much push and pull of designs and still relatively creative freedom involved, because I just think that we just do work well together, and we kind of all know what the vision is at the end of the day. So so that's basically how the process for myself would work.
Yes, and what will you say to that, Rob? You're more the coordinator, right?
Yeah,
You have a little bit this
all
role.
wrong. All wrong. No. Pretty much just like you said. I think Stormhaven is very kind of horizontal as far as teams go. Instead of a strict vertical hierarchy of, everyone answers to someone else. So it can be a lot more flexible and a lot more organic, and we kind of just address honestly what the next need is. We've got lists of, okay, this is content that we want to make, stuff we want to put out, and then as priorities shift and move, it's like, okay, this is the next thing we're going to need, so we'll see who's got any room open on their plate, and we'll push stuff onto it, and rinse and repeat.
What about you, Franklin?
So in terms of the process, right, of making 3D art and stuff like that, one thing that I think is really cool, right, is if you tell two artists to make a sword or whatever it is that they're making, right, not only is the end result going to look really different, right, but the way that they get there can vary in a lot of different ways too, right? So for me, what I do, right, is I'll get references and stuff like that, right, for, the shape and silhouette, color, texture, all this stuff, right? And I'll shoot that to someone like Rob, right? And, get some feedback, then I make a block out, right? Sculpt the block out, set up my UVs, stuff like that, texture, and then put it into the game.
So cool. And so you are basically doing a little bit of everything. There's not one person which is dedicated to creature only, one person to armor only. So how do you share the task? It's really whoever wants to do, or whoever is free or have finished a project or something like this.
Yeah, for
Basically.
the most part, I think we probably end up kind of slipping into familiar roles where it's like, oh, you did this last time, so we'll do some more of that. You did this last time, do some more of that. But that's just because once you get kind of a workflow ironed out, the first time you do something is always going to take the longest. It's always going to give you the most trouble. So once it's like, hey, we know proof of concept, you've done this, 4 or 5 times, you can do this again. But if something new comes up, yeah, it's kind of up for grabs on who's going to be doing what, depending on what it is and who has the bandwidth for it.
So that's kind of nice. You kind of become very, you can touch a little bit of everything, and it's flexible, and there's a lot of variety in the job, something like that. Is it something that you enjoy, Joe?
Absolutely. You're learning all the time, right? Like, there's things that, say, you go to school for certain things, like there's only so much you can learn, but when you're applying it in real time, you definitely need to be open to learning new things, and that's from what I talked about before, seeing how much we've grown and how far we've come. Like, even for myself, from what I know now to then is leaps and bounds, right? And I think that's just really cool. It's just learning, being able to learn on the job and doing what you love at the same time, and just that's what I enjoy about it.
And so for someone like you, Franklin, that just go from the school and directly into that job, this is also something you feel like you are learning a lot while you're working on those things? Is it something you like?
Oh yeah, and you'll never step in the same pond twice, right? And it seems like for things even that are similar in terms of the process and the things that you would need in order to complete a type of object or whatever it is that you're making, sometimes it's the little tweaks that you'll have to make that will still keep you learning, right? And everything that you're going to do is going to be different, and you're going to come across different problems with any type of difference in your workflow, or things needed to accomplish a different goal, right? So
That's so cool. So now I want to know what kind of things you have created. What are your creation in the game? So the players that are playing the game knows, oh yeah, that's Franklin, that's Rob, that's Joe. They can make a face behind, an artist behind the things they are seeing in the game and enjoying in the game. So let's start with you, Joe. What is your creation, and what is the one you are the most proud of?
Oh man, okay. A lot of the armor. What else? Elk. Rabbit. Few animations on creatures that we've had. I don't know if I can talk about the shrieks yet, but
yeah, you can talk
yeah,
about the shrieks.
that guy was cool. That I really enjoyed working on that. Then some environmental assets, which that was cool too, because like the chameleon hut, that was a pretty cool one. I enjoyed that. The Raven Skull.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a few more things too, but yeah, I don't know if I'm. It seems like I'm proud of every project that I've worked on, just and solely based on the fact that it's always been a stepping stone to something that that I've been able to improve upon with every different project, right? So yeah, I appreciate kind of everything that I've worked on so far.
That's really cool. What about you, Rob? What are your creation? What is your favorite one?
I've done a lot of stuff across like different spectrums, so it's like a little bit of most things. So I think one of the first things I did was the characters. I've done some of the armors, a bunch of creature stuff, and animations. The assets for the dungeons, and a bunch more like environmental stuff, like the rat nests and things like that. Favorites?
The rightness, I want to jump on that because it's a very fun little anecdote where Undone was trying to create the radness himself by putting some wigs and little piece of wood. Then no, Undone, this is not how you do. No, we are going to do proper radness for you. That was pretty fun.
In terms of like my favorite things, it's tough to pick. I like things that are a little bit like on the grungier side. That's one of the things that drew me to this, the kind of more grounded grungy rather than the kind of shining, pristine high fantasy that a lot of MMOs chase after. So it's like the others and their various props. So it's like the towers and trees and such. Those were a lot of fun. When it comes to the creatures, I think the raven was probably one of my favorite, even though every one of those feathers is hand placed. And I don't know if you know this, birds have a lot of feathers.
Yes.
That's your fun science fact for the day. It was a pain, but it was, I think, he turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, the result is really nice. The raven is a really cool creature. So what about you, Franklin?
So I've done a decent amount of different stuff too, a lot of kit bashing, right? So a lot of kind of just, like populating the world with, a various amalgamation of combined assets put together into one sort of cohesive whole, right? And, to help kind of make a scene sort of like, or make sort of a certain part of the world feel a little bit more alive and lived in, fought through, things like that. Right, worked on like dungeons and stuff, and even within these kind of like set dressing pieces that I've talked about, kind of making items and stuff like that, and from scratch when it comes to poly modeling software, stuff like that, so that those pieces can go into sort of these kit bash pieces or whatever it is that I'm doing, right? But it's I think that in terms of kind of like a favorite piece, I think one that's just really cool, because when I actually saw it in the game, it was a really cool moment, and it was a kind of a difficult piece to make, because I was just starting up the company. But the first thing that I put in the game was this bridge where when you first start, right, you make a new character and you turn around and you walk a little bit, right? There's a bridge there that kind of leads into just this sort of ominous fog and stuff, and when I first kind of saw that in the game, I thought that was just a really cool thing to see. So maybe I just picked that.
Oh, nice. So you are more environmental artist, a little bit more, Franklin. You have more worked on the world stuff and the assets and such, like things like that.
Yeah, I've the only thing I've ever done for characters is when I first started, I made like a couple skins for a character. That's all I really did for that. But yeah, it's pretty much environmental.
Nice. This is really cool.
Mhm.
And so, how you guys are drawing your inspiration? It's quite interesting to see how you're proceeding to create a creature. What are the kind of things that inspire you? What are the things you're excited about? And how do you transfer that into the game? So let's start with you, Joe.
That's a really good question, actually. I mean, we do look at a lot of reference and kind of we just find what's cool and something that you know, that kind of suits us for what we're doing and kind of draw inspiration from that, right? I guess that's, I mean, it's pretty standard, I guess, on how that process works, but then you just kind of experiment and so I mean, I definitely am capable of going off the rails a lot of the time, so that's where Rob kind of brings me back down to earth, and we kind of we go from there, right? Like, yeah. So he's definitely a good balance for me to kind of bring me back down a little bit to reality. And yeah, usually that's kind of how it works, right? We'll like throw stuff out there and get feedback and it just kind of happens. um you know we get to the point where we're like, okay, that's cool, let's move on to texturing.
Okay.
And then that process starts again. It's like, okay, here's textures and
Is there something specific that inspires you more than anything else, like a style of, or a movie, or I don't know?
I think for the armor stuff, kind of like I always go back to like Mad Max or something like that, right? Like kind of a medieval take on Mad Max. Creatures are I don't know. I like yeah, because there's always that one side of you that wants to do something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah, of course.
Right, and so sometimes it just kind of pops into my head as I'm working on it. So I guess a lot of it just kind of, again, organically happens, and we just kind of take pieces of this and that and kind of throw them together and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, makes sense. What about you, Rob? What is your inspirations, especially for the other, for example, which are creepy as hell?
Well, I think Joe nailed a lot of it on the head, which is why I'm glad he went first, so I didn't have to say it. But I think organically is the short answer when it comes to where the stuff comes from, without having a specific concept artist on the team. Yeah, there's a ton of referencing other artists and picking and choosing and say, okay, like this, don't like that, like this part of that, let's try mixing that with this part of that. And even then, when you've got like a cool 2D concept, it doesn't always translate to 3D, where once you've got this form, you're like, now I'm seeing it like this, we got to change this part to that part. So my fallback response on, how do you do X, is always step one, make it up as you go. And that's all the steps. There's no more after that. So that's
Yeah,
pretty
nice.
nice.
So it's more like tinkering. You have an idea and then you see how it goes. Yeah, I like that process
Right.
also. I think it can be saved to a lot of our team because that's also how Undone is working with the coding. It's very much like trying this, trying that, and see how it goes. And so,
And I
He
think
copied
that's
that
what
technique from us.
yeah. And I think that's what like this kind of sets it apart from a lot of other studios where it's like this is the way you need to do it.
yeah,
You know, we we can kind of flow a lot better and work on the fly, so to speak, coming up with things as we go, and it's pretty cool.
yeah, that's something I like also. It's really a collaborative effort, and we can see the interaction between each other and how we are inspiring each other in a way. Franklin, tell me, how do you proceed? What is the things that inspire you and how you do?
Well, so for me is like I follow a lot of 3D artists on things like social media and stuff like that, and and I get a lot of inspiration from them, and then it's a mixture of that and just sort of organic, yeah, like they were saying, real world sort of inspirations and stuff like that, right? And just kind of integrating all these different ideas that I have into my head into the things that I'm trying to execute, right? So it's and then yeah, obviously it's like get a lot of direction from Rob or anybody that can sort of steer me in a better direction.
It's so cool. And so to go back to the inspiration from each other, you guys, the artist team, are kind of influencing the lore, and the lore is obviously influencing you. But the part that interests me more is the part where you are bringing up something to the lore, and then the writing team is kind of forced to make something out of what you have created and what you come up with. Rob, do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, sure. I think it ties in a lot. I had said that I kind of started here at the turning point of where the game was kind of going through an overhaul directionally, and so there was like a lot of doors that were open, lore-wise, story-wise. Not a lot was in stone. So that kind of gave us the freedom to kind of do whatever. I wish I could remember more specifically, but the others that have been in the game the longest, that players have seen for the longest, I think those were actually one of the earlier creatures that I made, and I don't even think they were super fleshed out from a writing standpoint. When I was just like, hey, look at this creepy guy. What can we do with him? And then, just on a team-wide scale with writers, designers, programmers, artists, being like, okay, what if they had this influence, and this is how they impacted the story, and this is how players can interact with them, and if you take that and extrapolate it across just about everything, then we had spoken of things growing organically before. I think this is far and away the most organic area of the team, is that yes, it's not just boom, this story that now we need to figure out how gameplay factors in, and we need to figure out visual representations of the stuff, and it's not just 100% ironed out gameplay, and we got to figure out story and art, and it's not just the art and then the other two have to like pick up the slack. All three are definitely growing and developing together, and yeah, a decision made on one side will have ripples, and it's like, okay, well then we'll make them look a little bit more like this, and when it comes to quests or writing, we'll factor that in over there, and things just kind of grow intertwined like that.
Yeah, this is really nice. This is something I really like about what we're creating with Embers Adrift. That's the world we're creating, which is pretty unique and stand out. And I know it doesn't please everyone. Some people would prefer something more familiar, but I'm also very proud that we're doing something different and that it's truly our creation to all of us together, and that everyone had something to put in it. Is it also something that you feel, Joe?
Oh, absolutely. Everything kind of plays off each other and grows with each other, and I think that's what makes everything so cool, really. And it kind of almost it enables itself to be cohesive just because everybody on the team can see artistically or story wise or coding wise, like how everything comes together, and it can all everyone is capable of tying everything together for it to work the way it does.
And what about you, Franklin? Is it something that you imagined before when you wanted to work in a video game, that it will be that way of you will be working?
Well, I thought it would be a lot more kind of like hard-edged in terms of, oh, you must do this and you must do this, and then this, right? And things are a lot more free flow, right? And you know, and that's kind of a nice way to work, right? Is to have that, you know, creative freedom and stuff like that. Ask whatever questions you want, go about it in whatever way that you want, right? And kind of what you were talking about with the lore before, and sort of my implications and my, you know, contribution to that is it's like one thing even that I'm working on right now is so putting stuff into the game that sort of has to do with the others, and I'm not exactly sure how much of that I can actually say for the sake of spoilers and stuff like that, but there's some cool things coming for people in terms of that kind of stuff, right? So
Nice. That's exciting.
Mhm.
That's a very
Mhm.
brilliant tangent to what are
Mhm.
you currently working on, guys? So, Joe, let's start with you. What are you doing without giving too much away? What is your
Yeah,
current
I
task?
was just wrapping up some animations for a character, and who knows what I'm doing next.
Nice. What about you, Rob?
I'm working on an environmental set piece that will be somewhere down in the dungeons at some point in the future for higher level players.
Oh, that's so cool. Really exciting. So, guys, thank you so much for this interview. It was really, really great to have you discussing a little bit about your art and how you proceed and what are the things you have created with the game. I hope the viewers are excited also. And yeah, that's really, really great. Thank you so very much for joining.
Yeah, thanks
Thanks,
for
Elloa.
having us.
Thank you.
Goodbye, guys. You take care of yourself and the best continuation for all of the creation.
Awesome.
See ya.
And voila! I hope you did enjoy that interview. Thank you so much for watching it. Thank you for your little comments, guys. That's really sweet. So, I will tell them, Alice. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Yay! Thank you, Tough, for being there too. So this is our team, the people that are creating everything you see in the world. Of course, it doesn't include Charlie's, but we had a previous interview with Charlie's, which is our world builder. So it's a little bit different because Charlie's is not creating the asset, is using the asset created by the art team to put in place. But it's basically in the art team as well. So yeah, I've not put him together because time zone and we did an interview before, etc. So I wanted to showcase our artists that had never the chance to speak up about their work. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so very much for joining us today. Do not hesitate to check out all of the information below, where you will see the links towards the article and the content creator I've been talking about during this episode. Feel free also to join us on Discord and on the forum if you want to see more detail and participate to the life of the community. There is always several events that are organized every week. You're very welcome to join them. And do not hesitate to check me live on Twitch TV as well. I am playing every Thursday with new player. The stream and the event start at 3 p.m. Central Europe time, which is, if my calculation are good, 8 a.m. Central American time. Yes, it's a little bit early, but if you're a morning person in America and you want to play with me with your new fresh character while eating your breakfast and drinking your coffee, you're very welcome every Thursday. You guys take care of yourself. I will see you next week for another episode. Bye bye.